So, look, welcome and thank you for joining us, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night for you, because we are a global. I'm in the UK, Paul's in the States. We have some Aussies on board. So, we have people from globally, which is just wonderful. And tonight, this morning, this afternoon, tonight, it's all about Paul Valach, because Paul and I have been sharing some time together over the last 3 months discussing where he's going with his business. Because as you know, Paul is very versatile. He's got his finger in a lot of pies. He does a lot of great things. And then to hone something in and bring something new and special, we had a conversation a few months ago, and Paul expressed this interest in this idea about really getting involved with Google Business Page, or Google Business Profile, as it's now called, and then putting himself up to support people to get their current page or profile up and running, or for those that don't have one, to support them to get one going. Because when we've looked into the background of Google Business Profile, it's an incredible resource and tool for people to use. And the stats that we've just done from people we know in our surroundings, in our workshops, and in our networking, is very few people use it effectively. And yet it's the biggest search engine available, and it's amazing how many people don't use it. So I said to Paul, right, let's get going. So we've done a lot of background work over the last few months to get this happening. Now Paul is ready now to share his expertise, share his passion, share his fun, share his unique self with those people that want to do a journey with him to really get their Google Business Profile happening. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to have a bit of a share, and I'm going to ask Paul a couple of questions just to kick off, just to get us going. So Paul, I'd just like you to give us a bit of a background on who is Paul Valach, where you're from, what's your background, and more importantly, a couple of your absolute passions.
All right. Well, thank you very much for offering to do this and being the host and the ringmaster for all of this. So thank you, Adrian, and that. So I am Paul Valach. My history, well, my family history. I come from an educational family, more or less. My grandfather, going way back to there, was the head surgeon at a teaching hospital, actually in Slovakia, which was part of Czechoslovakia at the time. My father was a professor at Charles University, where we escaped from actually in 1965. So I'm a little, the gray hair is there. And he was an engineer. So he worked on one of the very first computers actually in Prague at the time. And then here and there, when we moved back, he was an engineer at GE. In Arizona. He was a professor at Georgia Tech, and then he was also, in his later life, he was a professor at San Jose State. So I come from kind of an educational background and all. He also had a stint with Karsten Manufacturing. Those of you who play golf or may have heard of the Ping Putter and Ping Golf Clubs, he helped Karsten actually developed that. And we used to visit Karsten's garage, where Karsten and actually a Czech friend used to grind the putters and such. So there's a little bit of history there. I have taught at the community colleges, where I taught good old CIS 105. I have another name for that class, but it's basically, Microsoft Office, and then, 8 bits is a byte, and all these various local networks, what's a LAN, what's a WAN, blah, blah, all of this that, as many of my students said, and now after the exam, I don't need to know this anymore. And I said, yeah, and that might be even true for me. The only reason I know it is because I got to remember what to babble about for 50 minutes or so. And so I did that. I taught, I used to teach Word in a day, where I told him, I said, look, my goal is to get your English teacher off your back so you know how to create an index, footnotes, endnotes, the bibliography, which none of us do anymore. We just tell it which book we read and it writes it for us. So we did that. And then I started, when this whole internet thing started, learned some HTML and learned what a website was. And, and then I worked with a group or an organization where they actually had the hosting. So they would show you how to buy a domain name. By the way, the first domain names all cost us $100 from One Place Network Solutions. Today, what websites or domains are $9.95 or whatever GoDaddy or whoever your favorite person to go get those from charges. And so I learned how to create websites. And now with JavaScript and CSS and all of this, it's more or less what do you want on it? And sometimes you can do it yourself, or you hire someone like myself, who I work with a good friend of mine, and we create it, and boom, you got it. So that's what
And
I've been
Paul,
doing.
just to cut across you, if I may, what are a couple of your passions? What do you love doing? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's my
So what do I
favorite
like?
question to ask somebody. What's your passions?
I like food. I like to cook. I have two kitties, one doggy that I've had now for 4 years. I rescued her from found her under a bench at one of those places on a Sunday. And so, yeah, animals. And one of these days I'll travel somewhere. I've been threatening to go visit down under. Joanne has heard that story. I'll let Misty tell. Misty's got my plans for where am I supposed to be.
Yeah, there's no choice in it. You're just going to Chinchilla, you're buying a house on her street, and you're bringing your mum. That's
There you
it.
go.
That's
There you
it.
go. And if Sally
It's
were
just
here,
the actual date that's in question, nothing else.
Yeah.
there you go. So now you all know, and thank you for coming, and come on down under.
Yeah, it's a great place, and I'll zoom across and meet you there as well from the UK, because I have to go back next year anyway to Oz.
Are they letting you back in? Oh wait, no, that's a different.
Next year, another conversation. So look, just to move along a little bit, I'm sort of aware of people's time and where we're at. What I'd like to ask first, and we did ask this for those that were on Misty's call yesterday, but those that weren't on it, I'd just like to get a bit of a showing for those that currently do have a Google Business Profile. If you wouldn't mind, just give us a bit of a wave if you have a Google Business Profile. Yeah, sort of somewhere hiding in the cobwebs. Yeah, and the second question is, raise your hand or keep your hand there if you're using it effectively. Look at that.
Not sure how you tell that, so it's
Well, if you're getting people contacting you sort of daily or weekly through Google Business Profile, then it's effective. If you're not getting any contacts, it's not effective. That's the bottom line. Because it is, it's about having it there so that when people are searching for something through the search engine optimizer, then your name's going to come up because your service or your product is what they want. And that's exactly what the Google profile should be showing people. So if somebody comes into your region or they want to know something about where it is, they're going to type in, hairdresser or pizza or counselor or psychotherapist or massage or whatever, and bang, your little names are going to come up there, and they're going to phone you and say, hey, I'm booking in for a session, or I'm going to get a product for you. So if that's not happening, it's not effective. And this is why we are talking to Paul Valach, because he's going to do some engineering in that, because he's got an engineering background, and engineer your Google Business Profile to make it really effective for you. So,
Well, you have a question?
Well, just quickly, because no one I know uses Google. So if you could explain, like if they're using a different search engine like DuckDuckGo or whatever, is Google still going to come up?
Yes.
Okay, go.
Short answer is yes.
Okay.
It certainly will. Yeah. So look, any questions as we're going through this evening, please do just raise your hand and ask. I don't believe in keeping questions to the ask because most people forget questions. So if you do have a question, please just raise your hand, interrupt, and we will stop and we will take questions as we go along. And what I can't answer, Paul will answer. And if Paul can't answer it, we'll ask Dr. Google, because Google knows everything. This is why we use it. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to ask Paul to go across to his website and just share some of the benefits of the Google business profile, because they've changed the name from page, and just a little bit of a share on why we believe that people should really engage and have this as a tool, as a resource. Because it's the greatest resource almost available. And as you saw by the show of hands of here, and this happens every time we have a call, people are just not utilizing it. So I'm just going to get Paul to share. I love David's little comment. Czechs are the greatest engineers, aren't they just?
All right. So Adrian, sorry, I wanted to make sure I can answer Adele's questions. I did a quick sidetrack on my end here. So ask your question again, and then you want me to go through the tour?
Yep, just yeah. So Adele was just asking about the whether Google.
And I have her answer right here.
Yeah,
I was correct. It does. So one of the things that people want when we want something, we go to these search engines, whether it's Google or Yahoo or DuckDuckGo, and we type in what we're looking for, whether it's lawn care, whether it's a pizza place, whatever it is, and what comes up is usually this list of people and then the map. That's usually the part take. If you use what I use Chrome, and I type in that, sometimes the Google business page will pop up right away. Like you can see that over my left shoulder. All I did was type in Paul space Valach, and that Paul Valach MBA thing came up. So that's part of that, and Google kind of wants to be in that business. They want to be in what they call search and maps and search, because they want to drive business to you. So let me share my screen here and see which one it is. And I think it's this guy right here. That's where I wanted to start.
And whilst Paul's sharing, I'm just going to share, in the last 3 months of working with Paul to get this going, I've been very well educated on the Google Business Platform, and thanks to Paul. So I've learned a lot just from working with him those 3 months, and it's incredible what actually is available through Google. It's quite interesting. So Paul.
So I typed in, so my company name is PMV Productions. So all I did was type that into the search bar to see what can you tell me about PMV Productions. And what comes up is my Google business page on the right. And that's PMV Productions Google business page. And then of course, over on the left is all the various links about the company, its Instagram account, its Pinterest account, all LinkedIn, all of those on the left. That's all the stuff that's there. But you can see on the right here, the Google business page comes up, where one of the things that Google likes are images. So, if you can post 1 or 2 images every week, something that's related, that works, that it really likes that. It gives you kind of a map of what PMV production covers. Maybe I'm more international, so that's why you're seeing half of the US here and all this covered and all that. If you were smaller, then it would just give your town or your area. This is where you can list your phone numbers. You can add you can have a website. Down at the bottom are all of your products, so you can come in and saying, hey, and they can do your product, and then if you want to give them a link, you can give that for them to order, and so forth. So there's all sorts of ways of setting that up, and that's something to talk about when we discuss that. Down at the bottom, there's also reviews. So that's real important, that when you have one of these, that you ask for a review. Go to your favorite client, the guy or gal who you know is going to say good things about you, and say, would you mind writing me a review? And let them do that, because that gives you points on that. And then this gives you the number of the latest reviews that are there, or that are waiting for you to see, and so forth. And then the other part of this is that once this thing is created, you need to interact with it. It's not a parking lot. You need to post to that Google business profile at least 3 to 4 times a week. Now, that means that you either say you're attending an event. So as I told Misty, we're all going to make her famous because we're going to say, I'm going to be at this event and we're going to put Misty's link in there. And that's an event that you are attending, or maybe you are even running. You're going to have stuff that you're selling, an offer, or just some just some insight into this. That's what I usually do. I don't often hype the sell stuff or any offers that often, but I'll say, hey, did you know that you can include a photo with this, or that if you run this through this AI channel, or that, just some little tidbits that give you insight to there, and that builds your profile down at the bottom even more. The importance of doing all of that I just said is Google will say, oh, you're in business. Oh, you're alive. And so if you all of a sudden run up against somebody who hasn't posted anything, then more than likely you will rise in this search for pizza places. And I'll do this here in a second. Let me go ahead and do that. So if I go over to the pizza places, this is what comes up, this list of pizza places. And some of these are probably more active than others. And then also some of these has to do with the lovely local SEO, or where are you, and so forth. And so that's why it's important to be active. As long as I'm on the list here, whenever we do pick a place, you can see that this little guy comes up here. This is their Google business page, actually, that is seen here. So any one of these red guys that I click on, as I go through all the pizza places that it found, and again, I'm sitting here in the Bay Area for the moment, so that's why this map comes up, because it thinks I'm in San Francisco. If we were somewhere else, if I said, well, you know what, let's do this. Let's see, Joanne, what city are you in? This is the interactive part of the presentation. I know I'm going to make some of you work.
Bega, B-E-G-A.
B-E-G-A,
G-A.
Bega. And is that in Australia?
Yes, it's about 2 minutes away from me.
Type in cheese. Type in cheese.
Australia. There
Nice to know we're over there too, Adrian. Then.
So let's see over here. Could not be completed because why not? It's Bega, B-E-G-A.
Yep.
All right. Wonder why it doesn't like you.
Maybe there are no pizza
All right,
places.
there we go.
Google business page.
All right,
Miles
there we
Pizza,
go.
yep.
Yeah, sometimes it takes 2 pokes. So here's one on Auckland Street.
Yep.
And you can
But
see
really good
there's
copy there.
there's Mel's Pizza Bite. So there's Mel's Pizza Bite, and there is their Google business page. So that, and you can see they have some popular times. So with food, they even give you more time things and more evaluations. So they got a whole bunch of different stuff. It gives you directions to the place. And so, various items here. It even gives you the reviews. Again, important to ask for reviews. And in fact, you can write, at this point, we can even write a review for them. So depending upon where and how that works. I made up another one here. Look for barbershops, hairdressers. Again, all of these are here. And depending upon which one you click on, it will give you their setup and so forth. You can see these guys have 404 photos. So they're quite active, which is good, which shows everybody that, hey, we are open. You can see they have their products. So if you want this lovely scalp solutions, you can click on the product. And if we visit the site, I'm sure that we can probably order it here. and you're good to go. So you can almost have it be kind of a shopping cart thing, because it's all hooked up to your system and all. And if you're a speaker like me also, you can again put your name in, and then it will again bring up your photo. You can see right there, it gives me my Arizona thing. So you can see it's not the world. In this case, that I kind of made it the valley of the sun. It needs to be a little wider, but that's okay. And then again, my products. Down here, I've got my posts. You can see that's this guy's doing some seminar coming up here. And so that's how the page looks. And the control for all of this is the reason you see this is my Your Business on Google, where I can see messages, I can add photos, it gives me a performance, it gives me good old Google wants you to advertise. I can add my update. I'll just show you that real quick, just so you can see. So there's 3 things that we want to post 3 to 5 times a week in some order, some fashion. We can do an update, we can do an offer, or we can do an event. And the best part about all of these, it doesn't matter which one you choose. They all want a photo, they all want some description, but here's kind of the key to some of this is that we can send them somewhere else also, and so forth. So that's part of the service we offer, because you need to know where to send them, because sometimes Google doesn't like where you send them. Google reviews every single post. So that's kind of the overview. Because one of the things that when you sign up, it wants to know what you do, and it gets very particular. If I ask you what you do, and you say, well, I do gardening. Okay, what kind of gardening? Do you do you do lawn care? Do you do roses? Do you do rose bushes? You can be very specific on some of the businesses that you're in, so that Google knows where to classify you. And then obviously hours that is, but the real important one is the description of your business. And that's what, when we start looking at what is it that we're offering, you need to have the right words that's describing your business, because you want to be there when people are looking for your particular service or product that you excel at. And can you have multiple products? Absolutely. But maybe one day you promote one over the other, something like that. So that's kind of the overview. There's all sorts of other pieces. Especially when you're editing, and there is a difference between services and products. I'll end with that, because products are dealt with a little differently than services, but in the end, you may have one of each. You may do the same thing, but you're going to word it a little differently for this one and a little different for that one. So with that, I think I showed you the pizza plate, the phone. So yeah, we just were playing around because my iPhone was acting up. So, and this is actually the repair thing, and this is near me. Again, you can see that these guys, there aren't that many. So, if you want to come open up a iPhone repair thing in San Jose, there's some good opportunities here in Santa Clara. So with that, I will stop sharing. And yes. Sorry. No, I won't. I lied. Hang on. I lied because I want to answer a question here. So I'm going to reshare this. And who was it? Adele, I think it was. Adele, can you see this?
Yep.
That is DuckDuckGo. Yep. And you can see, if I click on, you can see right here, Slice of New York. That's their Google business page. So that's the answer to your question on DuckDuckGo.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah. So just before we move on and sort of share the the whys and why one would need to get something going through Paul's website, because we've got quite a bit of information on there. Does anybody have any questions from what? As you can see, it's a minefield in there, and I think this is why it's important to have someone like Paul to take the reins and do it for us, because I don't know if I want to spend hours and hours and hours doing it myself.
I can't see where the raise the hand thing is.
That's okay.
Anyway,
just raise the real one.
Exactly. I thought, well, and that my website link website. So when I Nutrimedics Melbourne, I'm located in Melbourne, Australia. I've typed that in, and I don't, there's somebody who is not the company. So the company is on the left-hand side with all their links, and on the right-hand side is one of my colleagues who lives way out from Melbourne City, but her name is coming up. Now, I know that that particular person has her own website. And is that the difference? Is that the difference? Is that, like, why would she be coming up on the right-hand side? Her link and her up.
So listen, I'll give the short answer, then Paul can give his long answer. I would imagine, and that's why the algorithms are putting her up there, because Google, every time we do something on Google, that's supposed to get points.
Can't, on the company link, I have nothing to do with that. Like, that's controlled by the company, does not include Nutrimedics in it, but she comes up when you type in Nutrimedics Melbourne. And look, I don't want to sidetrack the whole conversation for the others. So I can book a one-on-one with Paul on my own to get this sorted. But because I have gone down the path of having my own website many years ago, didn't work out for me, and I'm now in a spot to redo that, to revisit that, and so I would like that kind of conversation with someone who can put me down the right track, rather than I just want someone to give me an honest view of what is available and what would be best for me.
That would be Mr. Valach. So why don't you organise a contact with Paul after here, and then you can have a conversation. And he can certainly.
Let me briefly address this, because I see a couple of people. If you are in I'm going to call it an MLM, because most people know what that is. That you join. Well, okay, you join Netflix, and they give you your own theater, and Netflix, this one. So everybody has Netflix and then a slash in their name. Some of those organizations do not want you to, you need to have your own identity. So you would have to have Lucia's ballroom, Lucia's.
So Paul's going to hold your hand for 6 weeks, and Paul's just going to be. He's a lovely guy to work with, as you all know. He's got a lovely energy about him, and he'll work with everybody to their needs. Whatever you set up, whether it's your product or your service, and he will make sure it's pumping for you. Obviously, there's a limited number of people he can work with each day and each week, so we are limiting this to a particular certain number of people, so he's not overwhelmed. That's my coaching with my big stick, telling him not to overwork, so he can have a bit of a holiday rest as well. And the price will obviously, I say it's $595 is the normal price, and then in a few months' time I'll be pushing him to make that a lot more, obviously, as his coach. So this is a good time to get in early, get Paul, get him to hold your hand, and get that Google business profile happening for you. So what I'd like to do, Paul, if you can just jump over to your website and just basically run through some more.
Yeah, my Chrome is not wanting to. That's what crashed me before.
That's okay.
I restart the computer, so I'm going to try to restart Chrome, and if not, then I will see if Safari will play nicely.
Yeah.
But we can always get there, and maybe Adrian can go there, because it's not letting me. I don't know why Chrome is doing this.
Adrian, when would that 6 weeks start?
That will start in a couple of weeks. So by the time Paul sort of collects all your data, find out who you are. Because initially, what you do, he will send you a form, like a form to fill out with your website, your contacts, your emails. He will then do a little bit of a research on looking, and he'll do like a 20-point check, if you like, or what's specifically for individual. He'll then come back to you and say, hey, look, I've just analysed what you've currently got, if you have one, and this is what I think you should do in terms of your changes and your additions. Obviously, if you don't have one and you have a blank canvas, it's a different conversation. There's no analysis for Paul to do. It's just a conversation, and then say, hey, how can we get you started? So there's two streams, those that have and those that haven't. But by the time you contact him, you pay him up, you get going. He does the initial consultation with you. You do a Q&A, you fill out some forms, and then the group will start in sort of 14 days from
it's right.
from Monday.
I just want to do a kind of an quick entry review with you and kind of so forth, and then do that. But there is no start date for there's not the same start date for everyone. Someone may start 1 week before or 1 week after, and then but what I'm going to start having is the weekly gatherings of tips, tricks, whatever. And that may actually be monthly or bi-monthly, and then of course your time will be for you the weekly review and such, and where are we going type of thing, because it's different for everybody.
Yep. So you'll get your one-on-one with Paul, and then you get your group work, and then obviously he's available by email or Zoom for those quick, short questions as well. So he'll be holding your hand for that 6-week period. So just while you're looking at that, David did have a question. Might be a good time, David, to ask you a question before while Paul's just trying to find which platform he's using.
Yeah. So Paul gave us a lot of examples of local businesses, pizza places and all that. Like him with one of his Google business pages, I'm not local. I'm definitely Australia, but probably global.
Yeah.
And I just wondered if I could get to see an example of that. Perhaps when Paul's got his
the PMV Productions is the PMV Productions pretty much it's that, or even the PMV Productions is I just put the map in there, but it would be that you're global, and it would just have different the map with the red circle or whatever would be different.
Okay.
I have a similar issue too with mine on that too. Of course I'm global, but based in Australia. The map that it gives me, even though I've put, it must be how I've phrased something or what I've ticked, because it's showing a spot in Afghanistan.
Oh yeah, okay. That sometimes you can actually, it shows you the map and you just move sort of the arrow by yourself manually, or sometimes you do the glitches in there, but that's
it's also taken down my photos that I did have there. I've not used it for ages. Does that mean it thinks I've died?
It may be. It depends on something. Depends how you posted them or when. Sometimes some of those posts also don't stay up that long. If they were as a post, as opposed to just putting photos up, because as you saw, the other place had 400 or 40 or something, 80 photos and so forth. So photos and posts are different items. So I put in the meat up there, and actually I think it put the 15-minute one, and if we need to go longer, we can go longer. I think I buffered those and such. So
Paul, can you send, will you be sending something to us by email? Because I'm on the phone and on the computer at the same, would you mind just sending that link for the Calendly via email? I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
We'll be in contact with everybody directly afterwards as well. Like most offers, what we say is, jump in the first 24 hours to grab the offer. If you have any more questions before that, please contact myself or Paul, and we can answer any questions. Say like all the offers is open, and then if you don't jump on board, you're going to sting you for an extra couple of $100. So it's worth getting on. So have the conversation with myself or Paul. directly after this if you are interested, and we can sort something out with you, because everybody's in a different individual space. And also, if you have a team of people, a lot of people have their teams, like, if you're in an MLM or something and you want to support your team, like I'm in an MLM with LifeWave, I have a team under me. And as I get going with my Google business page, I'll be bringing my team across to Paul. So I'll be bringing them, and we'll do a team payment. So, I'll bring in 6 or 8 people and we'll do a special price for team. So if you have a team, give me a call, and we can, as Paul's advisor, and I'll work out a good price for you, because I'll squeeze a bit more out of you.
Next week is a couple of things on my schedule. You can schedule one there. If I need to move something, as I said, I'm in California at the moment, dealing with some things with mom and so forth. So it may be a movable 15-minute appointment, but we'll fill it in and then get started. We're at the end of the month here, so my thing is that probably some sessions or whatever will start. I think Monday's May 1st. I don't know. I know today's Thursday, I think, all day.
Yeah,
and it says 25 on my thing in the upper right-hand corner. So those are 2 things I'm sure about, kind of, sort of. And I think tomorrow's 26, right? But
yeah.
After that. But make sure to just book a time, and if we need to move around or whatever,
we certainly will
get you in there. But yeah, there's all sorts of ways of defining things, and yeah, Google likes to change the rules on certain things here and there.
So Paul's put his if you look in the chat, Paul's put his calendar in there. If you want to just click the 3 dots up on the right hand side and save the chat, or just copy and paste that.
And we'll send you we will send you an email. And if for any reason you sign up for one right now that's 15 minutes, and then when you read your email and you click on it and it says 30 minutes, that just means that's the, we'll figure out which one to do. But
yeah. So Paul, how are you going with your?
I took off the website, so because my
Paul, did you manage to get across to your website or not? Are we live in there?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's do this.
And then we'll go there for 5 minutes, and I'm aware of the time as well. We're nearly on the hour, so we'll just do a quick visit, just to run through some basics, and then we'll see if there's a quick Q&A, and we can turn the recording off, and those that want to stay and ask can ask.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Safari deals with this thing completely different than anybody else. Okay, let's do this, and let's share, and let's see what happens. All right, can you see the screen now, everyone?
Yeah, there it is. Yep.
Yeah, this is Safari, and I don't ever use Safari. So, okay, so there's the website, and then underneath it, you can see it's broken down into a number of things, the Midjourney, ChatGPT speaking, but the Google Business Profile. And yeah, there's a couple of questions that are on here. Actually, I clicked on the link. That these are just some key points again, that the average Google Business Profile gets 33 clicks per month. So anytime anybody sees that sidebar or even on the maps, that's part of the 33 clicks. 60% of the consumers are using it to find just contact information. You just want the phone number. You need an email. Those are the two biggies. A lot of times people want to know a little bit more on the services that you provide. Now, this is part of that filling it in correctly. This is the part where, putting in the right words, right descriptions, and all of that. Strangely enough, if you have 50 items that you're selling, you can put 50 items, 50 products, and describe each one of them and put a different link to each one. One maybe goes to Shopify, one goes here, one goes there. So that's a wild card. You can have as many theirs as you want. Yeah, it used to be, complete listings are, again, more likely, 7 more likely than ones that are left unfinished. And I think that's the problem with most Google business pages, is that there's a piece missing, or 2. And sometimes Google adds a new thing. So we want to make sure that we keep up on things. Again, that's part of the service of keeping it maintained and so forth. And again, as I said, the key is kind of playing that search and maps, and you know, and there's a whole other ways of dealing with that if you have a problem being on the map. But we figure out how to get you on the map. So those are kind of the things. By the way, just as a side note, if any of you so Google, when you get one of these, Google gives you $500 of Google money to you know, create your Google ads and stuff. So we want to make sure we take advantage of that, but we want to do that after we set the whole thing up, and maybe even 30 days later, just to make sure we've got the right I's dotted and T's crossed. But if you run a nonprofit, see, this is Safari playing with me. If you run a nonprofit, Google will give you $10,000 Google dollars for your nonprofit every month of Google ads. So if you run a nonprofit, let's talk off another day on that, to you know, spend that money. And they want you to spend it you got to spend it every month, otherwise they don't give you another 10,000 next month and the month after that. So there's some good ways of you know, making money for your nonprofit using these funds that Google offers. Just as a side note, those of you, I know a few of you are in the nonprofit world. So that's it on the Paul Valach of that. And you can see there, I even put my Google business page there. So it's a great way. It's a great way to put something like this on your website, on your wherever, just as a nice image. So there you go.
Thanks, Paul. If you just want to come off share screen, we'll just come back to the group and we will wrap and polish. Is there anybody with a question they have from what you've seen or heard from myself or Paul? Or was that really clear? Pretty clear. But what I love about it, and you've probably got the same, you realize the depth of what Google Business Profile actually has. You know, there's so much there. It's a minefield, and I certainly don't want to be spending my time in that minefield. That's why Paul is going to very patiently do mine and fix mine up and work with mine as well. Sorry, that's an assumption.
Yeah, and if Adrian goes missing and I go missing somewhere around that time, well, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So look, what we'll do, we will be in touch with all of you. We've got all your contact details, obviously. But I would urge you, if you are keen to do something, keen to get your business profile up and running. You know, Paul's a great person to work with. He certainly will give you some great results. So take it away, have a think about it. We'll send you an email tonight, my time or daytime, Paul's time or Australia time. I'm 11 o'clock UK time, so bedtime thing. And hopefully we can have a conversation in the next 24 hours with myself or Paul and get you happening with the Google Business Profile and get your business pumping for you. So I want to just thank Paul again for jumping on here, offering what he's offering. Paul, any last wise words of wisdom from you to wrap us up tonight?
You know, just in closing, it is the most, maybe it's oversold or oversaid, but it is the most important piece of real estate to have, because let's face it, Google drives all of us. And whenever we search for something, it's Google that tends to, come up and bring us those results. And so your page or your item, you may as well come up. If people are looking for the, for the scissors or for the lawnmower or for the new car or whatever it is, or for the best pizza or spaghetti around, you may as well be the one who comes up.
All right, everybody. Look, thank you once again for coming in and giving us your time and energy. Really much appreciated. And hopefully we can continue the journey together in the Google Business Profile space. So thank you very much.
Thank you.